Thank you very much. It's a real privilege for me to be speaking with you all today, both in my capacity as CEO of the Indefinite Arts Centre, representing more than 300 artists living with physical and/or developmental disabilities, and as a member of the Advisory Committee of Creative Calgary. I'm here because I feel there needs to be a certain balance in the way we converse about the arts and arts funding that is beyond audience numbers, jobs created, and dollars and cents. Without any doubt, these metrics are important. They speak to the relevance of an arts organization and its programming and give a sense of reassurance to funders that their investments are having an impact. But justifying an investment in the arts should be about more than just statistics. In my opinion, that's actually a cop-out from elevating the conversation to a level where these statistics are an appendix, not the core of our arguments. And of course, for full disclosure's sake, I come at this with a particular bias. The Indefinite Arts Centre is not a cornerstone organization. We're not located in the downtown core. We do not operate large performance or gallery venues that attract large audiences, and we don't have the kind of massive economic ripple effect as many other arts organizations do. But that being said, we are a cornerstone for the 300 artists that we serve who live with disabilities and a cornerstone for their loved ones. We occupy an old community hall that has an unclear future, but we are proud to be a cornerstone of the Fairview community, now offering an even broader range of programming that is accessible to the local community, not simply for individuals living with disabilities. And though we don't have direct economic figures around the impact of our work, I am proud to lead an organization that provides a creative outlet for those living with disabilities who express an interest and a passion for the arts, something that many of us take for granted, but actually means so much for our artists and the more than 100 individuals who are currently on a wait list to be a part of our organization. This creative outlet, in turn, is changing the lives of so many of our participants. Those who have displayed aggressive, confrontational behavior in so many other activities find solace and joy in our lively, colorful studio. Many of our artists had never previously communicated verbally before, but have now found a voice through their artwork. Recently, in an interview with Global Television, our artist Leonka Kalua talked about her experiences being bullied, saying, "Before I used to walk with my head down. Now as an artist, my head keeps getting higher and higher." There are no statistics or figures to quantify this type of transformation in the lives of our participants. But this is the kind of impact that public funding for the arts is having on a community that yearns to be supported and to be heard. Earlier this year, the Centre unveiled our new 5-year strategic plan. Our big idea is simple: to no longer be seen as a disability service organization, but to be recognized and celebrated as an arts organization. And to walk down this path, we realized the need to reach out to the broader arts community to find opportunities for collaboration. I'm pleased to tell you that this arts community has embraced our direction with open arms. From our current residency program at Leighton Arts Centre, actually funded by the Rosé Foundation, to our upcoming multimedia exhibition at the National Music Centre, in addition to ongoing conversations about activating spaces within Arts Commons with the creativity of our artists, we are supporting our artists in brand new ways through these partnerships. Again, this is something that can't be actively measured with audience or economic statistics, but it is something that can only be achieved when there is a vibrant, active arts ecosystem. Increases to arts funding would only further bolster the opportunities for collaboration between large and small arts organizations, disabled and non-disabled artists, and professional and community arts practice. In March 2018, we secured a small $5,000 grant from a public funder that allowed us to ship 35 of our artists' works to Hong Kong for our first ever overseas art exhibition. There, an enthusiastic art collector was so touched by our story that he then hosted our first ever overseas art auction later in May, an auction that generated more than $15,000 in net proceeds for our charity and the artists whose pieces were sold. And I share this as a small example of how integral public funding is for organizations to seek out those opportunities to diversify revenue sources. As our city walks down the path of perhaps hosting another Winter Olympics, and in fact the first Paralympics, we need to understand and acknowledge that public funding for the arts is not simply about supporting venues and programming that cater to certain communities or patrons. It's more than the number of tickets sold or bums in seats, but it's also about realizing that the arts can, and already has, strengthened underrepresented communities in ways that the world can notice. Increasing public funding for the arts will allow us to do this and even more. And organizations like the Indefinite Arts Centre and our 300 artists living with disabilities are ready to take advantage and reach even new heights with our creativity. Thank you.